Hello, one and all, it's my view of My Hero Academia, chapter 319, Friend. And after 300 freaking chapters, we have finally gotten a villain Deku storyline. Deku versus Class 1A. Huzzah! I mean, for those who don't know, villain Deku is an incredibly popular topic among fan fictions and fan artists. Just wondering, what if Deku had become a villain? What if Deku had joined the bad guys, the League of Villains? And it's not that crazy of a thought. I mean, a lot of the villains in the series weren't necessarily bad people. They didn't start off as bad people. They were just people who were rejected by hero society, who in another world, another age, if they received the right support, right protection, they could have grown up to be amazing heroes. Deku, he was definitely in that category. He was beaten and berated, mocked time and time again, just told he couldn't amount to anything in hero society. And so the thought of him becoming a villain does make a certain amount of sense. Especially if he was a villain like Stain, a villain who wanted to make society a better place by getting rid of the phony, the fake heroes. Imagine Deku being like that, but, better at selecting his targets, better at deciding who he goes after. Like, he'd go after Endeavor because Endeavor abused his children and his wife. He'd go after other heroes for being evil, criminal, corrupt. Basically doing what Lady and Gaunt's been doing for the government, taking down corrupt, evil heroes. I think it could make a lot of sense for Deku as a character, as a villain. But the villain Deku we're getting here is one who just really, really wants to go, fight villains again and again to protect his friends, protect those he cares about, to protect their smiles. And that I didn't see coming. Though apparently Bakugo did. Bakugo saw this coming as soon as he heard that Deku was, working with All Might. He realized, oh my freaking god, this is going to go so badly. He even tells Endeavor, you don't know the first thing about Deku, and this is just such an utterly amazing sign of their friendship. I mean, it was said before, Deku was always watching Bakugo, he was always keeping his eyes trained on him, he saw everything he did, and so he knew how he would fight. When they first fought in the first training exercise, he knew exactly what Bakugo would do, and managed to fight against him without even really using his quirk. Bakugo was doing the same thing. He was watching Deku all these years, and he knew exactly how Deku responded to the situation. He knew that allowing Deku and All Might to go out on their own would lead to Deku just pushing himself to the utter brink, pushing Deku to becoming this twisted, monstrous vigilante that he is today. Also, Bakugo is wearing his tie correctly for the first time in this series, which is honestly a little bit unnerving. It's really, really unnerving. Ida really shows why he's president of Class 1A by declaring Midori as their friend. They're not going to be able to let him walk down this thorny path by himself. God, he looks so cool there. And then later on, when it seems like Deku is going to fight them, Ida's like, stand strong, we knew this was going to happen, we need to stop him. I mean, standing before your friend, standing before someone who's basically as strong as All Might is a very, very brave thing to do. And then there's Uraka. Oh my freaking god, she shined this chapter, and I freaking loved it. I mean, as everyone's debating and trying to figure out, okay, how exactly do we get in touch with Endeavor? She just walked away. She's like, the answer's so obvious. We just need to contact the principal and trap him in the principal's office. That is such an overwhelmingly insane idea, and it's just so utterly perfect. I mean, even Endeavor is afraid of the principal. Even Endeavor knows how just terrifying the principal can really be. I love it. I freaking love it. And then this one shot, this one little itty-bitty flashback we get in the corner of the page where we get to see what happened when Uraka found out that she was accepted into UA. Just the crying and the tears and the bawling her eyes out while her mother takes pictures and records and just has this big, beautiful smile on her face. I am so hoping that once it actually gets into the anime, this flashback's like a full 2 minutes of Uraka just shaking her hands, opening the envelope, seeing the message playing, and just bawling and crying as her mother and her father hold her and hug her and cry with her. I so want to see that. I so want to see that in the anime. Please let that happen. And then the entire class steals the cell phone out of the number one hero's hands, and that was interesting. I mean, I get the point was that Endeavor is just, tired and broken. He realizes that he's doing the wrong thing, that him letting Deku go out on his own was a bad idea, but I just kind of wish that Invisible Girl was naked in this scene. Oh, I know that sounds perverted. I know that sounds perverted, but I promise you that's not my intention. I mean, they just charged at him. They charged number one hero, and even though he's not really fighting back, that just felt so ridiculous. If it had been, Invisible Girl in the room, him not even realizing she was there because she was, not wearing any clothes, she could have just swiped the phone right out of her hand, tossed it, then Froppy or someone else could have caught it, shown the cooperation of Class 1A, shown what they can really do, and shown just how utterly perfect a spy an Invisible Girl really is. Oh, I so wish that happened instead, but anyway, they got the phone, and now they can find Deku's location. And, they're all super serious about this, even though as I think it's Mineta says they end up in the class just by chance. They've spent a year together and they're really close now. They're friends now, and they can't leave him behind. They can't leave Deku out in the rain. They need to protect him. Endeavor tries to convince them they can't do it, tries to convince them it's too dangerous out there, but he just seems way too tired to put up any kind of real argument until the principal gives them their backing and says they're free to go out and save Deku if they want. Huzzah! But then he gets very, very serious, talking about the safety of those who evacuated, especially one person, or especially someone in particular, saying among them there's still ... I'm kind of curious about this. I mean, is he talking about his own family? Do they evacuate to the shelter? Is he talking about like the parents of the heroes? Is he talking about someone important, someone who worked inside, the League of Villains and managed to escape, like Lady Nagant? Maybe she's still alive. She's in UA, being taken care of, being treated. Just somebody important here that they didn't want to tell us about. I'm very, very curious about that. And then the principal starts talking about the UA barrier, which... interesting. Apparently there is some sort of device, contraption, something around UA that manages to make sure that it'll be 100% safe no matter what happens. And, we can't forget, this school just has a frankly stupid amount of money. I'm assuming All Might donated a lot of what he made to the school. And it's being run by a super genius. I mean, this little mole-like creature is freaking brilliant. So that device, that UA barrier, could literally be anything. It could be a device that literally teleports the entire school into an alternate dimension where the League of Villains can't reach them. It could literally be that insane. That's just how freaking smart this mole-like creature is. So yeah, very, very interesting seeing what the UA barrier actually is. And I'm actually kind of wondering if that's going to be, the big final fight of the series. It takes place, around UA, with them with the students and the heroes trying to guard the barrier, trying to guard those trapped inside, while Shigaraki, a League of Villains, and just an army of Nomu attack it. I mean, that would make a lot of sense. UA is the symbol of hero society at this point, the symbol of protection, the symbol of safety, the symbol of heroes you can still put your trust in. So if Shigaraki manages to destroy that, if All For One manages to destroy it, that's it. There's no more hero society. Japan's basically in All For One's hands. I mean, ever since Shigaraki escaped, I've always had this vision in my head of them going to attack Shigaraki at his base, attacking him where he was, the mansion, and them doing basically, all of Class 1A is fighting, and then, Uraraka stays behind to fight Toga, and then, Shota stays behind to fight Toya, and then on until it's basically just Deku and Bakugo reaching Shigaraki to fight him full force. But it would make a lot more sense if Shigaraki was on the assault, attacking UA, and attacking the UA barrier, trying to stop it. So, interesting. I think we might have gotten some foreshadowing to the big final fight of the series. But anyway, then Class 1A shows up, they manage to detain the escaped prisoner, and then Bakugo gets very mad at Momo for not calling him Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite. Oh, poor Momo, poor Momo. And she actually feels, she says, pardon me. She seems somewhat serious about this. Is she actually going to start calling him Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite in the future? I'm pretty sure Best Genius was calling Bakugo that, but that's just so very, very many words to say in the middle of battle. Dynamite is just such an utterly perfect name for Bakugo. It just fits him so well. It even has the All Might's might in it. But just saying all those words is too much. It's way, way too much. Oh, I'm very excited to see Bakugo's first TV interview. Well, actually, he has been interviewed by TV before. I'm very interested in seeing Bakugo's next TV interview as Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite. And then Deku tries to leave, tries to convince them to get away from him because it's too dangerous. They'll die if they try to fight alongside of him. And, they're not going anywhere. They're going to stay behind. They're going to fight him. They're going to bring him back to UA no matter what it takes. And this is going to be a rather interesting fight. In a fair fight, I don't think Deku would have any problem taking out all of Class 1A. He basically has the strength of All Might plus a bunch of other quirks. He is just overwhelmingly broken as a character. But at the same time, he is not in good shape. Even before that big last fight, he fell to the ground. He's barely been sleeping, barely been eating. He is broken. He is exhausted. And, then after that, a whole bunch of civilians started hitting him in the head over and over again. So at the very least, he has a concussion. Probably a few broken bones as well. He is not in good shape right now. And I don't think it's going to be all that hard for the class to outmaneuver him, to beat him, to take him down. There is a question of whether or not they know about his new quirks. Did Endeavor mention that he can make fog now, that he can, basically charge up blows and land them down the road? Because that could definitely affect their strategy, definitely affect how they decide to fight against him. I'm curious about that, very, very curious about that. Also, something else worth mentioning is they shouldn't actually be considered Class 1A anymore. Apparently they've passed the year-long mark, and they should have graduated to become Class 2A, but they're being kept as first years for now because classes have been suspended, which is interesting. There's a lot of questions about that. First off, is there going to be, did they do the entrance exam for the next class, for the next generation of heroes? And if so, what are those people like? What are those, the new class 1A going to be like? Are they still going to want to be heroes? I mean, so many heroes retired, quit after, the events of the last couple months. So are they going to change their mind? Are they going to not want to come to UA? Are they going to not want to become heroes anymore? Or are they going to realize, they're still young, they're still optimistic, they'll say, you know what, I'll be a better hero than all those heroes who've quit, and they'll still want to come. They'll still want to be heroes. I'm honestly not sure about that. Though I guess, they won't be all that useful right now because they haven't actually gone through any hero training. So I guess they wouldn't really be all that much more useful than just plain old vigilantes. Though it also raises the question about Shinzo. I mean, he was told, when they graduate, when they moved on to class 2A, 2B, he'd be able to join one of those classes, but because they're being kept as first years, is he still in the non-hero course? I mean, he received enough training from Aizawa to be able to help with, stopping villains, helping evacuees, all that stuff, so I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about that. I mean, he could actually be in this fight. He stopped Deku at least twice in the past, so I could see him doing it again now, using his quirk to manage to stop Deku while hiding in the crowd, making it so Deku doesn't even see he's there. He'll just use his voice modifier to sound like Bakugo, make comment, Deku will respond, and then he'll realize, oh my god, I've been brainwashed! Again! There's a question of whether or not the brainwashing will work now that he has, the other users inside of him awake and active. I mean, they were the ones that managed to, help him break free the first time, so I'm curious if they help him do it again, or if they'd realize, you know what, Deku, no, you need a nap, you need a break, just let your classmates kidnap you. You deserve it at this point, just take it easy, man. That'd be interesting, that'd be very, very interesting. But yeah, let me know down below. What do you think's gonna happen next? Deku versus Class 1A. Who's gonna win? Is Shinzo their ace in the hole? Is he gonna find a way to stop Deku, to brainwash him, and just convince him to go back to UA to take a very, very long shower and a nap, and actually eat real food again? Because he needs a break. He needs such a long break right now. And, if he does, he could still help Class 1A. He could still be a hero now because, let's not forget, he has the Danger Sense quirk. He can tell where danger is and then can direct his classmates to that spot. He can basically be working dispatch, saying, hey, there's a mugging on 8th Street. Hey, there's an old lady on fire on 14th Street. Why don't you go over there? Why don't you help them? And then Ida can run off, Bakugo can run off, Froppy can run off, and go save the day. That's my best guess what's going to happen next, but let me know down below. Be sure to like, subscribe to the next video, and until then, peace!